Hello friends, welcome to WOW AIS. Welcome to the discussion on daily MCQ. Today is 10th of July 2021 and now we are going to discuss 5 current affair based MCQs. But before we begin, a small information guys. So if you have any suggestions for us, if you need any more new initiatives from us, so do let us know in the comment box so that we can work on that aspect also. And now let's discuss the question that was asked yesterday. Yesterday's question was, the Western Ghats Ecology Expert Panel is also known as A. Kotaria Commission, B. N.K. Singh Commission, C. Gadgil Commission and D. Ribeiro Commission, and some of you have given the correct answer as well. So yesterday it was Divya Vasisht and Subham Bashak who gave the correct answer. So if you see this Western Ghats Ecological Expert Panel, this was headed by Gadgil. So this commission is also known as the Gadgil Commission. Yeah. It is also known as Gadgil Commission, and you have another panel for the Western Ghats only, that is known as Kasturi Rangan Commission. Kasturi Rangan Commission. Okay? So these two commissions actually were established for the Western Ghats, and for the prelims, the recommendations of the committees are not much needed, but for the mains they are needed. You can just go and read it by yourself. Okay, right. Another thing, so if you see this Kothari Commission, it was related to education. The N.K. Singh Commission is the 15th Finance Commission, okay, and the Gadgil Commission is related to the Western Ghats Ecological Expert Panel, right? Now let's begin the discussion, and the small information, we are uploading the daily MCQs along with their solutions in a PDF format in our Telegram channel. The Telegram channel details are there in the description. If you haven't joined the Telegram channel, so please join it. Okay, now let's begin. The first question, consider the following statements with respect to the Zika virus disease. So keep an eye on these type of questions, because UPSC is directly asking such questions from science and technology. So the first statement is, it is a mosquito-borne flavivirus. Okay, the second statement, the symptoms are similar to those of flu, including fever, body ache, headache, etc. So here we have to choose the correct answer. A, 1 only, B, 2 only, C, both 1 and 2, and D, neither 1 nor 2. So here the correct answer is C, both 1 and 2. So the Zika virus is a mosquito-borne flavivirus. The flavivirus is basically a genus of positive strand RNA virus in the family of Flaviviridae. Okay, this flavivirus actually it includes the West Nile virus, the dengue virus, the tick-borne elephantiasis virus, yellow fever virus, etc. Okay, and also the symptoms, if you see, it is similar to that of a flu, including fever, body headache, etc. Okay, so why this was news is, recently Kerala is on alert after detecting its first ever positive case of the Zika virus. So that's why this was in news. So the first ever Zika virus case was discovered in Kerala. So the Zika virus is a viral infection which is spreaded by the mosquitoes. It's a viral infection, and it is spreaded by it is a mosquito-borne flavivirus. It is spreaded by the Aedes aegypti mosquito, and this Aedes aegypti mosquito also spreads the diseases like dengue and chikungunya as well. Okay, the Zika virus history, if you see, it was first identified in Uganda in 1947 in the monkeys, and it was later identified in humans in 1952 in Uganda itself and in the United Republic of Tanzania. In 2015, the major outbreak was noticed when this Zika virus was detected in Brazil. Okay, so that's why this actually became very complicated. So this Zika virus also has transmitted from human to human through sexually as well. So this Zika virus, it actually created fears among a lot of countries because the way it has spreaded and the way it has caused mortality. Okay, so the fears of Zika virus primarily involve microcephaly, especially when pregnant women are infected. Okay, the symptoms of this Zika virus are similar to that of the flu. The additional symptoms can include the occasional rash like dengue, while some patients also can have conjunctivitis. Right? Now let's move on to the second question. The second question is, consider the following statements with respect to the Competition Commission of India. First one, it is a statutory body under the Ministry of Finance. Second statement, it aims to undertake competition advocacy, create public awareness and impart training on the competition issues. So here we have to choose the correct answer. A, 1 only, B, 2 only, C, both 1 and 2, and D, neither 1 nor 2. So if you see this question, the first statement, it is a statutory body. This is right, it is a statutory body, but it is not under the Ministry of Finance. It is under the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So the first statement is wrong. The second statement is right, because if you see, It aims to undertake competition advocacy, create public awareness, and impart training on competition issues. So the main aim of this competition commission is, as the name suggests, to ensure that there is competition in the market and anti-competition policies are not being followed by the private companies, because the private companies can come together and they can form a group so that the anti-competition can take place, and when they all come together, then what will happen? There will be no competition in the market and they can together dictate the terms in the market. To avoid such things, we have this Competition Commission of India, and here 1 is wrong, 2 is right, so B2 only is the correct answer. So recently, the Union Cabinet has approved a memorandum of cooperation between the Competition Commission of India and Japan Fair Trade Commission. So that's why this was in news. So this memorandum of cooperation, it will ensure the Competition Commission of India to emulate and learn from the expertise of its counterpart agency. So the counterpart agency is the Japan Fair Trade Commission. So this Competition Commission of India was established under the Competition Act of 2002. And it was established in March 2009 by the Government of India, and it is the Minister of Corporate Affairs who heads this ministry. The Minister of Corporate excuse me, and this comes under the Minister of Corporate Affairs. Okay, so it is required to give opinion on the competition issues on the reference received from a statutory authority established under the law. And the main aim we have seen to increase the competition advocacy, create public awareness, and impart training on competition issues. Right? Now let's move on to the next question. The third question: microorganisms called methanogens are capable of generating methane as a metabolic byproduct. Second statement: methanogens do not require oxygen to live and are widely distributed in the nature. So here we have to choose the correct answer. A1 only, B2 only, C both 1 and 2, and D neither 1 nor 2. So correct answer is C both 1 and 2. Okay, the methanogens are basically the microorganisms that are capable of generating methane as a byproduct. So they are very important, and these methanogens, if you see, they don't require oxygen for survival. Okay, so actually why this was in news is recently the Cassini spacecraft of NASA, which is actually revolving around the Saturn, and is actually, what it is doing is it is keeping an eye on the moons of Saturn and trying to find out what are the issues that are happening around the moon of the Saturn. So recently it has discovered an unusually high concentration of methane along with the carbon dioxide and dihydrogen in the moon of Saturn by flying through the plumes. Flying through the plumes. Plumes का मतलब है the flying through the gases that has evolved from the moon of the Saturn. So there are various methane producing organisms. In that, one is this microorganism which is called as methanogen. Remember this word methanogen, so there can be a direct question on this kind of a thing. So on Earth also there are microorganisms that are capable of generating methane as a byproduct. Even on Earth we can find them. They do not require any oxygen and they are widely distributed in the nature. They generally are found in the swamps, dead organic matter, and even in the human gut also. And they are known to survive in very high temperatures, and the simulation studies have actually shown us that they can live in the Martian conditions. Okay, so that's why this is important. These microorganisms are important for us to study. Now let's move on to the next question, the fourth question. The Navagaon-Nazaria Tiger Reserve was in news recently, is located in which state? A. Nagaland, B. Maharashtra, C. Goa, and D. Tamil Nadu. So here we have to choose the correct answer, and this Navagaon-Nazaria Tiger Reserve is located in Maharashtra. It is located in Maharashtra. So this recently a camera trap installed in this tiger reserve in the Bandra district has captured the image of a black panther. So that's why this was in news. Okay, this Navagaon-Nazaria Tiger Reserve is the 46th tiger reserve of India, which was declared as a tiger reserve in 2013, and it is the 5th tiger reserve of Maharashtra. It is situated in the Gondia and Bandra district of Maharashtra. And this Navagaon Tiger Reserve, if you see, it comprises of notified areas of Navagaon National Park, Navagaon Wildlife Sanctuary, and Nazaria Wildlife Sanctuary, and New Nazaria Wildlife Sanctuary, and Koka Wildlife Sanctuary. So some portions of all these wildlife sanctuaries and national parks are taken, and they are set up as a Navagaon Nazaria Tiger Reserve. So it is the major forest type which is found in this tiger reserve is southern tropical dry deciduous forest, and it has major connectivity with the tiger reserves in central India like the Kanha Tiger Reserve, the Pench Tiger Reserve in Madhya Pradesh, and Tadoba Andheri Tiger Reserve in Maharashtra, and Indravati Tiger Reserve in Chhattisgarh. Okay, so it is connecting all of these tiger reserves. So here, what are the important things that we need to notice is the Kanha and Pench tiger reserves are in Madhya Pradesh. Remember, Kanha and Pench in Madhya Pradesh. The Tadoba Andhari tiger reserve is in Maharashtra. The Indravati tiger reserve is in Chhattisgarh. Remember, where is Indravati? In Chhattisgarh. Where is Tadoba Andhari? Maharashtra. Where is Kanha and Pench? In Madhya Pradesh. Okay. Now let's move on to the next question, the fifth question, which is a previous year CSE question. So which of the following have shrunk immensely or dried up in the recent past due to human activities? First one Aral Sea, second one Black Sea, and C, third one Lake Baikal. So here we have to choose the correct answer, A 1 only, B 2 only, C 3 only, and D 1 and 3 only. So we have to choose the correct answer, and here the correct answer is A 1 only. Only Aral Sea is given according to the UPSC. So the Aral Sea, if you see its location, it is located between Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. The Aral Sea is located between Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. This Aral Sea has been shrinking steadily since the 1960s after its tributaries were diverted by the Soviet irrigation project. So because of this, the water that is coming into the Aral Sea has drastically reduced and this Aral Sea started shrinking. So by 2007 it was observed that the lake, this lake had declined to 10% of its original size and it has split into 4 separate lakes. The eastern basin of the former southern Aral Sea has now completely dried up and is called Arlakum Desert. Arlakum Desert. So a desert was formed after this was dried up. So here you can see this is the location of Aral Sea. It is located between Kazakhstan and the Uzbekistan. Okay. So this is Aral Sea here, right? So now let's look at the question of the day. The question of the day is, where is the headquarters of SAARC located? Headquarters of SAARC. Okay, so you have to give your answer in the comment box on Monday we are going to discuss this question, right? And guys, these are our initiatives. So do join our Telegram channel to get more information about our initiatives. We are providing the PT 365 summary, Vision Prelims Test Series summary, Vision Monthly Magazine summary, and Vision Mains Test Series summary. To this, we have launched these initiatives to ensure your preparation becomes very easy. Because as you know, the multiple times revision is one of the key things to clear civil services examination, and in order to ensure this, in order to make sure that you do revision multiple times, we have brought up these summaries so that things become easy for you, because already the preparation is more complicated, right? So do join the Telegram channel to get more information on these initiatives. You can also give your suggestions in the comment box, okay, and we will get back to you. And thank you guys. I'll see you again in the next lecture. Till then, keep studying and stay tuned. Jai Hind.